So I was thinking about taking a road trip, as you can see on the title. And what's more fun than actually going on the road trip is planning for the road trip. So I'm going to give you a moment to take a guess as to where we're going on this road trip. Recognize anything here? Home of the Bear Republic? Well, we will be heading off to sunny Berkeley, California. Disclaimer, it's not always sunny there. This is not Los Angeles. But if I start my road trip from Burnt Hills, Ballston Lake High School, and drive all the way to Berkeley, California, Google Maps tells me that it will be about 2,911 miles to drive. So here's our route. I'm seeing lots of construction along the way, but I'm pretty sure we're taking I-90 for most of our trip, just right across the country, all the way over to Berkeley, California. So a little bit about Berkeley. It's home to the University of California at Berkeley, where my sister is currently living. So that's kind of the reason why I would drive out there. I have someone out there to visit. Berkeley is very close to San Francisco, right in that Bay Area. I think it's about a 45-minute drive from San Francisco, maybe a little more or less, give or take. But that's Berkeley, right in the Bay Area. It does not get as warm as Los Angeles. There are not as many people as Los Angeles, but it is really nice to have a very temperate climate. So while I'm planning for this road trip, I'm going to need your help in figuring out how much money am I going to be spending on gas for this road trip? How much money am I going to be spending on gas for this road trip? So we'll start by what we know, what we're given. I know that the drive is going to be 2,911 miles for this road trip from Burnt Hills to Berkeley, California. So that's what I know. That's the information that I'm given. And how am I going to get this and account for the amount of money that I'm going to spend on gas for the trip? I'll give you a hint. We're going to go back to our conversion factors. And one other thing I know about my particular car is that it can drive 26 miles for every 1 gallon of gas. So for every gallon of gas, I can drive about 26 miles on the highway, give or take. So I can use that as my conversion factor. So if I take the 2,911 miles and multiply that by the conversion factor of 1 gallon per 26 miles, let's see what I can do here. Let's take a moment to see if we can cancel out any units. And it looks as though we can. We can cancel out both units for miles because they appear once in the numerator and once in the denominator. And if we end up multiplying across, we would get miles over miles, which we can just cancel out those 2 units. So it looks as though I'm going to have about 112 gallons of gas used on this one-way trip. About 112 gallons of gas. While we did just figure out how many gallons of gas we'll use for the road trip, that's not our goal. Again, reminder, our goal is to figure out how much gas is going to cost for the entire trip. So let's think about what else we know, or what else we can use. We're probably going to need another conversion factor. And again, we're looking to find the cost of the trip in dollars. So what information do we know or do we need to know to convert from gallons of gas per trip to dollars per trip? According to current data, the average cost of gas per gallon is $225. So I can use that as another conversion factor because I will pay $2.25 per 1 gallon of gas, And if we take a look at our equation right now, we might be able to cancel out some more units. That's right, not only can we cancel out our miles, but we can now cancel out the unit of gallons because it does appear in both the numerator and the denominator. So if we multiply this all out, I calculate that I'll be spending about $252 for the whole trip's worth of gas. Now, what if I decide that $252 is out of my budget, it's too high, and I don't want to spend that much money? So, plot twist, I have convinced 3 of my close friends to join me in the road trip. That way we can split up the cost, we can split up driving time, and now there are 4 people going. So let's again take a look at what our final units will be if we cancel out the units that we can cancel. So it looks as though I see, again, we can cancel out miles because it appears in the numerator and the denominator, cancel out gallons, and one more thing we can cancel out is now the trip. We can cancel out our trip units. So our final unit will be in dollars per person. And if you multiply across, I come out to about $63 per person. So now I took that $252 for the whole trip and lowered it to $63 per person because there are now more people going. So for the road trip from Burton Hills High all the way to Berkeley, California, with 3 of my close friends, we'll spend about $63. But keep in mind, that is just on the way there. But money is not my only resource here that I'll be spending away. Time is another factor in this road trip. I will spend about 42 hours just driving. I don't want to waste too much time of my summer vacation. So let's figure out what % of my summer vacation I'll be spending driving in my car across the country. So here's a hint. Percent is equal to part divided by the whole times 100. So let's take a moment now and write down what will be our part and what will be our whole. What do we think here? I might say that the part would be the time that I spent driving, those 42 hours, and my whole will be the entire summer vacation. So I have my part, 42 hours for that one trip. And I know that my summer vacation is 8 weeks long, but 8 weeks and 42 hours do not have the same units, so I'll need to change something there. So let's take my 8 weeks of vacation and convert it to hours. So how would you take weeks and convert to hours? That's what we're looking for here. We might be using, again, some more conversion factors. So we know that there are 7 days in 1 week. That is a conversion factor, 7 days per week. And we see that we now can cancel out the unit of weeks since it appears in the numerator and the denominator. Let's take it from there. I'll give you the go-ahead to take this all the way to hours. And we know that there are 24 hours in a day, so then we'll be able to cancel out our units of day. And if we multiply across, we see that the entire summer vacation is 1,344 hours. So those are our hours for the vacation. So now let's calculate our percent composition of the trip for our summer. So reminder, our trip was 42 hours and our vacation was 1,344 hours. I've calculated that 42 hours out of 1,344 hours is about 3.1%. So 3.1% of my summer vacation will be spent driving to Berkeley, California. And that white area right there represents 3.1% of my summer vacation. So thank you all for doing these calculations with me and showing how we can take what we know, what we're given, and convert all the way to the units that we want to get to, or our cost of $63 per person, or our 3.1% of our summer vacation. Alright, thanks so much for joining.